right, so this week we are starting to talk about proportions, and this is a huge part of the 7th grade curriculum is proportionality. So today's I can compare ratios using proportions and cross multiplication. Proportional means equivalent. So when we're talking about proportionality, we're talking about equivalency or equal. So if you'll remember from last week, when we've got two ratios and we're trying to determine whether they're equivalent or proportional, we are going to just cross multiply. So we're going to do 1 times 10, and that equals 10. And then on the other side, we're going to multiply 2 times 5, and that also equals 10. So 1/2 or 1 to 2 is equivalent to 5 to 10, so they are proportional. That's a yes. We're going to multiply 4 times 24 on the next one. I'm going to grab my calculator. 4 times 24 is 96. And then we've got 18 times 6, and that is 108. And since my numbers don't match, that means that a ratio of 4 to 6 is not equivalent to a ratio of 18 to 24. So they are not proportional. 10 to 3 and 5 to 6, we do 6 times 10 is 60, and 3 times 5 is 15. And since these two numbers, 15 and 60, do not match, these are not proportional. So no, they are not. All right, the next one, we've got 25 times 12. And that's 300. And then we have 20 times 15. Which is also 300. Since these two numbers match after we cross multiply, they are equivalent, so they are proportional. And then just remember that another word for proportional is equivalent. And it is extremely important that you know how to cross multiply because we're going to find missing pieces. So to determine whether two ratios are proportional, cross multiply. If the products, that's the answers, are the same, then they're proportional. If they are different, then they're not. And we just did that. So you know that in the 7th grade, word problems are big. So to set up a proportion from a word problem, you read the problem and then you set up the problem as a ratio. Keep your units in the same ratio. So we've got on the first day you pay $5 for 2 boxes of popcorn. The next day you pay $7.50 for 3 boxes. Are they proportional? So I've got dollars in boxes and dollars in boxes, and we're going to put in numbers. So our first proportion is $5 for 2 boxes. So dollars is going to go on top. I put my $5. And then 2 boxes goes on the bottom. And then on the other side, I've got $7.50 for 3 boxes. So my money goes on top because my money went on top on the other side. So $7.50 for 3 boxes. And then to determine whether those are proportional or not, I'm just going to cross multiply. So 3 boxes for 15, 3 boxes for 5, I got ahead of myself, is 15. And then 2 boxes times $7.50 is also 15. So those two are proportional. So yes, they're proportional. And then you can also find the unit rate to determine whether they're proportional. So you could do $5 divided by 2 boxes, and that would be, I'm going to do this, $2.50 per box. And then if we divide $7.50 by 3, that's also $2.50 per box. So if they have the same unit rate, they're also proportional. And then the last thing, of course, we get into some more difficult problems that have fractions and complex fractions, but they don't have to be any different, and especially if you've got a calculator, it helps with these. So I'm going to set up my two ratios, and I'm going to keep calories on the top and miles on the bottom. So in the first one, I can walk 4 miles and burn 300 calories. So my calories are going to go on top, 300, and my miles is 4. And then on the other side, I've got 3 1/3 miles, which it kind of looks funny to put a fraction in a fraction, but we can do that. And that's going to equal 250 calories. So if you've got a calculator that can do fractions, you can do, this one's a little bit easier, so we'll start there. You can just do 250 times 4, and most of you probably know that that is 1,000. And that was 250 times 4. And then with this calculator, you can do 300 times 3 1/3. And if you've got a calculator like this that will do fractions, we can do 300 and then times 3, and then you do this ABC button and 1/3. And that is also 1,000. So when you cross multiply those are proportional. And you could also get a unit rate for each of those, also a little bit easier if you have a calculator. So we could do 300 divided by 4. And that's for this one. Remember, unit rate, we're trying to get 1. So if I do 300 divided by 4, I get 75. And then if I do 250 divided by 3 1/3, I also get 75. So if I do 250 divided by 3 1/3, and that equals 75. So remember that if the unit rate, and that's 75 calories per mile, same with this one, calories per mile. All right, the last example is going to be this one. So on the first day, you paint 150 square feet in 2.5 hours. So I'm going to do the square feet on top and the hours on the bottom. So 150 square feet, and that's in 2.5 hours. And then I come to my other one and I do 200 square feet, and that goes on top. Since I have square feet on top on this side, I'm going to have square feet on top on this side. and then in 4 hours. Oops. So 200 times 2.5 be 500. And you can do that with your calculators. If you have a calculator like this, it's 200 times 2.5. That's 500. And then on the other side, I'm going to do 150 times 4. 150 times 4 is 600. And so these two are not proportional because when you cross multiply, they're not the same. And you could also set up a unit rate where you have 150 square feet in 2.5 hours. And if you get the unit rate on that one, it is 150 divided by 2.5. That equals 60 square feet per 1 hour. And the 200 feet in 4 hours. Remember that we divide by the 4, divide by 4 to get the 1. And 200 divided by 4 is going to give us our 50 square feet in 1 hour. And those are not the same unit rate, so they are not proportional.